Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Monday, August 4th, 2014. I am beginning today by mentioning something that I brought up last week. This video, Changes on the Horizon, and this is the full version. I actually watched this entire thing over the weekend. I had watched parts of it before, and I want to add some comments. First of all, the first part of 3 is a lot about Saint Germain, and I found it a little confusing and difficult. I don't know where the facts come from. I don't know where these stories originate. I'm not saying they're not true, but I think they could. A lot of people might find some of part 1 confusing. Parts 2 and 3 are very specific, and I believe they're quite accurate. And the information, it just has extreme value. It really can help us understand the context of what we are experiencing now. And Benjamin Fulford this week even gave, he was kind of on that track of framing where we are, what has happened, why we find ourselves in the struggles in which we do find ourselves. And I found this helpful, and I think this is a time, I'm hoping, that we are going to begin to see some of the changes that we've been hoping for a while. And if you watch Changes on the Horizon, you know it's been quite a long while since the 80s, 90s. And more people are becoming aware of these issues. And I do think that understanding the historical context is invaluable. And for us to know this, I think, is crucial, because we may find ourselves explaining some of these things to people. And this is probably a good time to bone up on that. We read over the weekend, and this was just a little blurb, I don't know if it's true or not, that the emergency broadcast system is going to very soon be used to let people know that that the government of the United States is being restored, and the Nazis are being eliminated from our government. People are going to wonder and have questions. I hope that's true, but I also hope that there are enough of us who understand these issues that we can help bring other people up to speed. And if they thought you were a kook for a while, they may be coming to you and asking you questions, because they may hear some familiar statements to things that you've made. So hopefully this is happening. I kind of feel like it's now or never. It's, I don't know how long this can be postponed. I don't know what terrible things they might dream up for us if this change continues to be postponed. It's possible that they could grow weaker and weaker. Maybe time is on our side because there are more of us. But if they manage to trigger some kind of a mass pandemic, that that it's over. Our time is up. And I don't really believe God would allow that to happen. But I think you got to strike while the iron is hot. And I think the iron might be heating up pretty well. I also want to revisit this because I listened to David Wilcock's show when he was on Coast to Coast. And it's only, I think, 43 minutes, but there were some things that really stood out to me. And one is the analysis of all the data that has been collected by the NSA in order to predict human behavior, even on a broad scale. And that is not something that we haven't heard before, but it kind of took root in me, and I think even the evening that I listened to this by coincidence, which, I don't really believe in coincidence. I believe in divine providence. The evening that I listened to David Wilcock when he was talking about the NSA predicting human behavior, we watched this episode of Fringe called The Plateau. And this episode is about a mentally disabled man who, and yeah, this is spoiler alert, but it's about a mentally disabled man who takes, I think he took a drug or had some kind of a process that dramatically increased his intelligence. And he was able to predict people's behavior based on probabilities. And this is, this is being able to actually see what this means. When behavior can be predicted, things can be done, and it might be set up to look like a coincidence, but it has been planned. And really, if you have Netflix, I really kind of, if you're interested in this kind of thing, I think that you will maybe be fascinated by this episode, because it's really quite remarkable to watch this play out. And I do want to mention, and this is a major spoiler alert, that this guy who's been enhanced realizes that Olivia is on to him and is hoping to kill her. And he's predicting her behavior and setting her up. But this is complex if you've never watched Fringe. This is Olivia from a different dimension. So she doesn't behave, well, actually she's from a different universe, I guess it's more accurate to say. She doesn't behave as predictably as the guy anticipates. There's something that the natives of this universe would do, and Olivia doesn't do it because she's from another place. And therefore she survives his attack. And I was thinking about that in terms of us behaving unpredictably. When we behave unpredictably, and creativity is a part of this. When we behave unpredictably, the models that they build and the means of control will not be able to work on us, because we will be able to evade them by simply not behaving predictably. And that actually happens a couple of times in this episode. And one is just, a lady who says, hey, I can do things that are spontaneous, and I'm not always predictable. And I thought of that really in terms of, Olivia's, so to speak, she's from a different kingdom. And we Christians are, to some extent, we are subjects of a different kingdom. So we can also, we can be unpredictable in the way that Olivia was. And here's something that Jesus said that can be found in John 3, verses 7 and 8. Do not be amazed that I said to you, you must be born again. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but do not know where it comes from and where it is going. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. I read unpredictability in that. I read that, the Lord may direct us somewhere that can't be predicted. Our behavior can't necessarily be predicted. And one thing that I thought of, if someone's model of probability is predicting that we will react out of fear and we respond in love, that just shatters the entire model. So we can sidestep this kind of trap. Moving into some more hard news, not philosophy and history. Max Keiser over the weekend tweeted this: "I quit my BBC show. They have a no-go policy re-Israel. Is this why?" Revealed Britain's role in arming Israel. And that's pretty remarkable, I think, that Max quit his BBC show. And they were not permitting him to talk about Israel. I think they forbade him from even mentioning Israel. So a while ago I shared that even Britain's Parliament had a discussion about some of the atrocities that were committed by Israel. I see this, I think Alex Jones is right about this. I see this lining up as an issue, this Israel-Gaza, as an issue that really is crafted to divide all of us along different lines. And I don't want to fall into that trap. I do not want to take a side between Israel and Gaza, and I'm not going to analyze everything that's going on there. But denying discussion just does not seem like the way to go. And I'm glad to see that Max quit. I have wondered about Max a little bit, his orientation, just the fact that he believes in global warming due to human activity. And I would be open to that idea, except that it's been scientifically completely debunked, and it's used to manipulate the people of the world and try to get us to pay carbon taxes. So I'm not really feeling that opinion that Max has, but I think that looks like he's made a move of integrity here in quitting the BBC. As far as what some people might perceive to be global warming, here is an article from Natural News. California wake-up call. Extreme drought will lead to migration exit and real estate collapse. Personally, where my mind goes with this is noticing, this red zone on the map is red zone on the rewilding map. And a lot of these areas are areas that the UN hopes to depopulate under, or the term is rewild, under UN Agenda 21. They don't want people to live in these beautiful places. And so, what I tend to think is that there is geoengineering that's going on, that this drought is crafted, first of all, to immediately make more money, the people who have control of the water, and to threaten, and maybe not just threaten, maybe actually craft a food shortage, because this is where a huge portion of America's food is grown. So in the California Valley, which is vulnerable to drought, I have a suspicion that if they would use geoengineering in order to bring rain to these areas, instead of sending the rain further east where they often have flooding, we might not be seeing this kind of problem. Could this just be completely natural? Of course it could. This is a very dry region of the country. But again, with as much as there is at stake, I think this is part of the pressure that is being applied to Americans to demoralize us and long-term to destroy us, to bring down our country. And here is a water shortage of a different kind. Ohio City to continue water ban after new tests. And this is kind of personal for me because I grew up in this area, Toledo, Ohio. And Toledo and all of the surrounding communities that get their water from Lake Erie have been instructed not to drink their water, and if children bathe in it, to make sure they don't swallow any. That's it's pretty toxic, the stuff that is in there, and it's generated by algae, but the algae is growing because of farm runoff that has all kinds of nasty cocktail in it. Thank you, Monsanto, for that little gift. And as far as I know, they have not. The ban on drinking it has not been lifted yet. Now, this water distribution centers will reopen at 8 a.m. Monday. I have not looked this morning. With the warning, worried residents told not to drink, brush their teeth, or wash dishes with the water. That's pretty extreme. That would be rather scary. You have to figure out other sources of water. And it reminded me of West Virginia not that long ago, when they had those two spills from coal facilities that made their water toxic. And while this, the algae, I don't know that this was specifically planned by someone. It is certainly a result of the disregard that major corporations have shown for the earth and the people of the earth. And this kind of reckless behavior of, spraying all these toxins on fields and then not realizing, of course they do, I believe, realize that there will be catastrophic consequences. And John Rappaport had a blog this morning that is about a similar, kind of a parallel subject. Covert chemical warfare, 100,000 deaths a year. And he's not writing here about Monsanto or farm runoff or anything that's used on crops. He's talking about toxins used on human crops, and that is prescription medications. In 2011, doctors wrote 4.02 billion prescriptions for drugs in America. That's an average of roughly 13 prescriptions for each man, woman, and child. That's about one new prescription every month for every American. And they're enthusiastic about this, that the industry should be heartened by the growth of the number of prescriptions and spending. Well, first of all, I don't even want to, Obamacare. I mean, that's when you consider the spending. It's not like this is a real industry that is really generating money, revenue for the people of the country, because everything they're making here is being drawn out of or was going to be pulled out of the Federal Reserve pocket. That will mean more debt for us, the people of the U.S. So, there's the economic issue, but that's not even what John Rappaport was writing about. He's writing about how dangerous and foolish this is. And, of all these people who are taking these drugs, I mean, it's a risk to them. But it's also a risk to the environment and all of us, even if we choose not to take these drugs, because through the sewage system, a lot of these drugs get back into the water supply. And so this is yet another means of poisoning us. And as he has aptly named this blog, covert chemical warfare. It is, along with, what they're doing to the food, what they're doing to the earth by spraying all the pesticides on it. So moving toward good news, this isn't exactly good news, but this is an action item, something that you can do. And if you live in California, and even if you don't, there's actually a list here of different issues in different parts of the country. But this I learned about this specifically because I had an email asking people in California to sign a petition. And you can find that by clicking around here. And this is Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Rights News by Firearms Policy Coalition. And you can, if you have some time, you can click around here, find some petitions to sign, and just learn more facts about how governments are trying to, state and federal governments are trying to take away gun rights. And here is our good news of the day from Green Med Info. Education equals empowerment. Natural treatments for Ebola virus exist, research suggests. So this is probably, not an absolute proven fact, but if you are concerned about Ebola, you can read through this and have some of these things on hand, these substances on hand, and maybe even start to make them a part of your diet. Thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and help to enforce the Bill of Rights.